and you become homeless, you're destitute, you don't have any ability to access mainstream services. There is the responsibility of the local social services department to provide you with accommodation while they're assessing your case, while you try and get your status sorted. There's gatekeeping carried out by all social services departments, in large part because it's underfunded. It's designed to stop people presenting their services. Parents are routinely threatened with being separated from their children when they approach social services. Home office workers are embedded at social services departments, and they tell single mothers when they approach they will have to leave the UK, even though these home office workers are untrained immigration advisors, even though this advice is most often totally wrong. In the past few weeks, we've seen a family of 5 turned away by Hackney social services who said that although they accepted there might be a duty to provide help, they did not have any vacancies that night. So this family were left scrabbling around trying to find somewhere to stay that night. We've seen a woman who is as obvious a victim of trafficking as you will ever see be turned away by Southwark Social Services because she couldn't remember some of the details about exactly when and where she arrived in the UK and where she was trafficked to when she first came here. Yesterday, I only found out about this today, yesterday one of the women that we're working with approached Hackney Social Services, and she was told she approached with her 2-year-old daughter, and she was told in front of her 2-year-old daughter that she should have had an abortion if she's not able to care for her daughter. We see countless examples of this often across London. Something that you will have recognised is that all 3 councils I mentioned are Labour councils. Sorry, the last one wasn't Haringey, it was Waltham Forest. I apologise for that. But the first one was Haringey. I would like to say nice things about Hackney Council at the moment. We've seen improvements in our relationship with social services at Hackney Council over the past couple of years, in large part down the excellent campaigning work that Nelma have been doing and the Project 17 have got involved with as well. Yeah, so that's great. I'm going to say unpleasant things about Hackney in a second, so I thought I'd throw nice things in there. There's a lot of other issues I could have addressed, but lots of people have talked about already. The costs of fees, access to fees for immigration applications, access to legal aid for the most vulnerable people that we see is next to impossible to get. Detention is a horrendous issue, and it's good to hear that hopefully things might be changing soon. What you can do about it, everybody should have one of these sheets on their seats, which lists campaign organisations. We're at the top, that's quite nice, thank you, whoever made this sheet. And the Joint Council of Welfare and the practice involved with this, that fund is listed there. Nelma were an excellent North East London Migrant Action, an excellent local campaigning organisation. We're working with them on their Free Schools campaign. There's a picnic on the 29th of September at St Mary's Church in Stoke Newington to get this campaign launched. We find it far harder. Our volunteers at the Hackney Migrant Centre write letters asking for schools to give free school meals to the children of parents with no recourse to public funds. We find it far harder to get a positive response from schools in Hackney than we do in pretty much any other London borough. This in part seems to be because the Learning Trust has a policy of not providing it. So we find the school refers to the Learning Trust says no, refers us back to school, we're bounced back and forth, we tend not to get anywhere. In other parts of London, either councils have a policy of providing free school meals, or the schools are allowed to decide for themselves. Often the schools do say no, and cite lack of funding for that. But it is harder in Hackney than we find anywhere else. There are a ton of other campaigning organisations as well, the ones I mentioned on the sheet. So for every different issue that we've talked about, there's a single issue campaign right now. There's Docs Not Cops, which is fighting healthcare charging. There's Against Borders for Children, that are fighting the hostile environment being placed in the schools. There's Homes Not Borders, which is a campaign against the right to rent legislation. There's a campaign group called End Deportations. They stopped a flight that was carrying people to Ghana and Nigeria and I think the Ivory Coast, DRC, I'm not sure exactly where, last year. There's I think 13 activists who are on trial under terrorist legislation in a month's time. There's a demonstration taking place outside the court next month. I don't have details of it here, but if you Google or use a different search engine to look at end deportation, you'll be able to find information about them. Yeah, that is pretty much me done. If anybody wants to talk to me at the end to find out any more about these organisations and what you do to join in, please come and please come have a chat. Okay, thanks.
Okay, now it's over to you. So I want to know, are there any people who would like to ask any questions or contributions? So 1, 2, 3, and then you'll see where we go from there.
Yeah, my name's Diane. I'm a teacher in Hackney, National Education Union, so I think we'd love to talk to you about school meals quite urgently, because I'm going to be my branch secretary. Because I think schools are massively affected by the whole hostile environment. We had a case at my school last year of a student who lived in this country since the age of about 8 and was threatened with deportation to Bangladesh when he didn't have any relatives who didn't speak Bengali. We stopped it, but you know, I think students in schools experience that. But what I wanted to talk about is on your chairs, as well as the list of organisations that you put out, there's also a sheet of paper which says Hackney Solidarity Windrush. And what it basically is trade unions, quite a few trade unions in Hackney. We got together at the end of the summer, the UCU over there, NEU, Unison. There's also other names which I sort of arrived today after I printed them off. I got an email from 8 shop students at Homerton Hospital, for example. And what the basic point about that statement is that the trade unions in Hackney and in Hackney Public Services, that's the hospitals, the schools, the council, hopefully the college and so on, we serve an awful lot of the local community, we're in touch with the local community, a lot of us actually live in Hackney as well. And what we really want to say by putting that statement out is that we want to work with and we want to support anybody who's threatened by the campaign against the Windrush people, or indeed much wider. And in terms of trade unions, we can publicise things, we can sometimes give donations, we have funds, we can ask our employers to actually sort of intervene as well, go to our trade union leaders. So basically, I'd love to hear from any other trade unions in the room. We need to sort of firm that list up and send it round. But what we are saying is we do want to work with the council, with any organisation who wants support, because I think we can, we're in a position to sometimes offer that in terms of the reach of our members and that we're in touch with, in my case, with parents and children. But hospital leaders I know are incredibly concerned about the whole issue around health charges. So that's basically it.
And somebody in the middle there.
Thanking and congratulating the organizers of this and members of the panel. They've all made very, very useful contributions. And I want to tell them that Windrush is for all of us. If you go to Freetown, my country of origin, you find the Maroon Church there. And to you, Julius, I say many, many times. But would the panel agree, including you yourself as chair, that the answer to the question, citizenship in post-Allied what we can do, would you agree that the best thing we can do is to make sure we elect a Labour government?
I think that seems reasonable. Somebody right at the back. Who was next?
Yeah, I'd just like to draw everyone's attention to Liberty's website, libertyhumanrights.org. There's a guide to the hostile environment, very useful, loads of really good information in there. Highly recommended. Google it, lots of information, lots of organisations that are mentioned here tonight and here as well. And you can resist, for example, schools collecting information from children. You can say you refuse. There's a letter on Liberty's website that you can use to do that. So it's not like they're complying, you can resist. It is possible to resist in some cases, particularly in the school issue. Another very important document is the Equality and Human Rights Commission have looked into a debate about the hostile environment. We're calling for, in relation to health and schools and education and other aspects, for the high judicial reviews essentially into changes to this legislation. So have a look at that as well. That's the Equality and Human Rights Commission debate, making recommendations for the judicial reviews into lots of the areas we'll be discussing this evening. That's it.
Okay, so one here, one person at the back, and then you in the middle. then one other person back over there. So we'll start with you.
Hi, I'm Wendy Pettifer. I'm a local solicitor who's worked with migrants for many years, and I'm also a trustee of Hackney Migrant Centre. I'm currently working in a small anti-trafficking unit. I've been out of this sector for 10 months, and I'm so shocked by the rapid deterioration. Yesterday we had 2 clients, a very vulnerable refugee who was refused accommodation by Haringey, and a woman with a pending immigration appeal with 2 children under 5, referred from the Migrant Centre. Both those cases, the Migrant Centre had to pay for temporary accommodation for my client, an anonymous donor had to pay for accommodation for the refugee. These are cases against Southwark and Haringey. Things have got so bad. Social services are absolutely cash-strapped. They don't, I mean, I'm not justifying the gatekeeping, but they don't have the money to pay for thousands of people who are facing destitution. Now, I'm pleased Diane said what she did. Oh, I'm also a member of Hackney Labour Party. It's great that she's looking at immigration detention, but the Labour Party must go further than that. Anyone who's going to the Labour Party conference, it has to look at getting rid of no recourse to public funds. That is a devastating effect on people, and also it has to do something about charging for healthcare. I know these are really difficult issues, but if the Labour Party genuinely wants to represent the migrant community as well as the white indigenous community, we have to face up to it, and we have to have stronger proposals.